It's not like, like the tango or salsa or all of that, trendy stuff, but it is a sacred art form, and very few know about the art form.
Bhangra, I can say that it's like aerobic exercise.
So it's blending, and I think that's the way, one, we get good thing from here, and combine together, and people love it.
When you must miss your families and homes. The whole point of art is to touch your soul and to be touched. And to me, that inherently involves healing. If you look out your window, you're probably seeing fields of green, of orchards, nuts, tree fruit. Probably seeing small towns organized within the beautiful agricultural landscape. The Central Valley, I think, is a place of incredible depth, and at the same time, it is often marginalized. You go away for college, you launch your career somewhere else. I'm surprised that I'm back. But what brought me back was this question of what was the most courageous thing I could do with my life? Art can absolutely, and I hope that we can give our energy through art to lift up voices, to help people feel that they matter.
Traditionally, we do Bhangra when farmers completed their harvest. They get together, they get money, they're enjoying, have fun. Whenever they tell them, I teach Bhangra, oh, that's Bollywood dance. Then I say, yes and no. Because it's Bollywood is kind of different moves we do it, but Bhangra is just from state of Punjab. That's the part I need to define them. Left hand here, right up, but now it's shifting from not just from the Punjab. Then here started in early 80s, people starting doing Bhangra. They started doing Bhangra competitions. Now it's not just for only Sikhs or Punjabis. Now everybody is a mainstream dance. Because why is mainstream dance getting popular? First of all, it's a very cardio exercise. You burn a lot of calories. 2, 3, 1. But I try to use both Punjabi and English when I teach. If you're touching somebody, you need to move. Show me a smiling face. Over, down. And I use example, like for example, if I'm teaching teenagers, how to move, how to use this. Hey, have you played soccer? Say, yeah, this is how to kick in soccer. Use this leg like this. Oh, there's some moves, how you play basketball, shoot hoop, how you three-pointers, like do this. They know that.
Bhangra, I can say that it's like aerobic exercise. So it's up, down, moving your neck, moving your shoulder. But Gidda, you need flexibility in your body to move your hip and your hand. In Gidda, you need to have that face expression, your hand gestures, because you are telling a story. Here in this community center, we are starting a class for ladies and for the teenage girls.
Move, leg up, more up. Good.
It's a ladies' dance, and ladies usually perform at the weddings and before the weddings or any occasion where they get together, and they start with a clap.
Move your neck side.
They stand in a half semicircle. The lyrics has a meaning to it, or they are translating a story, or they're joking around with each other. talking about their mother-in-law or their husband. If you don't get that rhythm in your body when you're young, it's hard to get it when you are a teenager.
Actually, when I first did it, I did not want to do it at all. I was crying on the first day of practice, and my parents had to like drag me on the dance floor.
Since I remember my childhood, I loved dancing. I had never done Bhangra or Gidda until I got married to Harjeet. Back in India, when I was studying, my parents, their main motive was just get higher education.
Because normal as Indian parents, they want me to be doctor, engineers, don't do Bhangra, they believe.
They really didn't want me to dance. I always used to wish, please God, give me a husband who will never stop me dancing. And when I met him, his first question was, do you know how to dance? And I'm like, oh my gosh, I got what I wanted. Our passion are same, our hobbies are same, so we really enjoy and we spend so much time together too because we both are together teaching kids, and I love it.
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ ਗੁਰੂ ਪਿਆਰੀ ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀਓ ਆਪ ਸਭ ਨੂੰ ਬੇਨਤੀ ਹੈ
Today is the 38th Sikh parade, but it has a lot of significance, both religious, cultural. Religiously, we are celebrating the coronation of our scripture as a guru. Guru means a teacher.
This is my first time to come over here to see the Nagar Kirtan parade here in Yuba City.
Very exciting, and we like it. All the people from Punjab, it looks like it's our Punjab.
So most of the Punjabis came from land of Punjab, which is a region in north western part of Indian subcontinent. They started coming to America about 130 years ago. They come from all different faiths, but most of the Punjabis who live in America are of Sikh faith. Sikh means a student, a learner.
Cambodian classical dance and Cambodian arts, it is considered a 1,000-year-old tradition. One of the most vital dance stories is basically like a rain dance. And this dance goddess, Mini Megalaj, is ocean goddess, and Rimiso, he is a thunder god. So when these two interact, they have an interaction of rain and thunder. The crowns themselves, the way they are created, they are pointing towards the sky, so that way they are like sending messages to the gods and the divines. Back in ancient times, the dancers were supposed to be presentable in front of His or Her Majesty of the royal court. The misassumption about art arts, like they think it's our neighboring countries of like Thailand or other countries. I mean, it's not as trendy or popular like salsa or break dancing or swing dancing. It's a rare art form indeed. As a child, you know, when bedtimes come, I would just lay down and look at a blank dark ceiling and just, you know, trace imaginary lines. We had a local dance troupe within our neighborhood, and I just remember I was just captivated by the accessories, the sparkling costumes of beads and sequins. That really attracted me to it. And yes, throughout the years, I just started developing and just start emulating, reproducing the dance costume and headdresses. Most of my headpieces are made from basic necessities such as cardboard, hot glue gun, or hot glue materials, metal wires. I'm spending an average of 12 hours a day just to finish the costumes. But you know, the end product is just, it's extravagant, it's exquisite. Like, it's just the quality of the costume. It's the time, discipline, and the patience what makes beauty within the costume pieces. Sometimes it can take an hour or more to dress one person depending on the character they are portraying. How'd that feel?
That's good.
When you stitch, it has a more proper look to it. The quality, it's a big difference versus pinning everything. Sewing really gives it a better composition, a better visual appeal. Most of the time, I do question myself, like, well, I'm taking so many hours on these intricate details, no one's gonna see them. No one's gonna really pay attention to all these fine works. I have to pay great tribute and respect to those who make these arts and made it possible to pass down to our future generations. The first thing that comes to people's mind when they think of Stockton is like, oh, it's a rundown city, you know, a lot of gang violence. This place is important to me because this is where my parents first took residence when they first arrived to California. It really houses the community to those who are not fully adapted to the new life in America. The Full Circle project really helped me and my other colleagues in assimilating the college environment, because most of our students are first or second generation Asian Americans. And you know, their way of understanding the academic world and personal life, it can be challenging within the college environment.
There are lots of memories of Lon, but in particular, he was the president of the Cambodian Students Association. He brought a lot of attention and awareness about Cambodian Americans to this campus.
One of the many pushbacks I commonly get is I won't get any financial benefits in doing these arts. But however, I retaliate in some senses. Deep down, I know that there is a place for these arts in what I do. I really think a lot about how rich my culture was.
The Khmer Rouge wanted to wipe out any Western influence. They wanted to create a rural society. They called it Year Zero.
Within the Khmer Rouge period, about a quarter of the population were eliminated. And within that group of number, 90% of artists were killed. You know, I feel like I've revived this type of art form again for my people and for myself.
My name is Mas Fukai. My name is Sally Kirita Tsuneshi. My name is Hannah Tomiko Holmes, formerly Takagi. I'm now 53 years old. I have been deaf since the age of 2. I call myself an agrarian artist because for me, growing food is a form of art making. We think about food often as commodity in agriculture, a big capital A agriculture. But for us at the Masumoto Family Farm, food has always been about story. All of my writing, all of my performing, all of my storytelling ties somehow back to the themes that brought me home, which are family, resilience, trying to create through art a California that is representative of the diversity of my family and the Central Valley. So for me, those two spheres, the kind of more recognizable arts, performing, storytelling, writing, and food, to me, they're twins. And I try to feed them all the time. As tears streamed down my face an awful realization dawned on me. Yes, I was a loyal American, but I had the face of the enemy. The first time I remember getting up on stage, my dad, who is a writer, he had me read one of his passages. I think I was like 9 years old, and I was really, really, really afraid. And after I read that story, I could feel this collective inhale in the audience. Got dressed and went with them into the dark night. I mean, in that space, you're co-creating art. You can't have theater, you can't have storytelling without a listener. I mean, this really makes me angry because I always have a voice in my head of how this sounds out loud. You will hear today hurt, hate, fear, and I envision through the written word what it's like to be in that moment of exchange where I get to share something, something emotional, something truthful.
After 2.5 years, my father was returned to us broken in health and in spirit. Why am I doing this? Why farm? I want the people who work the land, the people who feed us, to be valued.
Tres para allá. Tres, sí. As a farmer, I have lots of space to get in that like juicy, creative, generative mode. So lots of my ideas come while I'm on the tractor. After driving tractors for so many decades, much of the movement is muscle memory. So I get to have this kind of moment where my mind gets to relax. And so I get to be in silence, be alone, then the ideas flow. Farming teaches you grit. Farming teaches you how to work through whatever barriers you have constructed for yourself, physically, mentally, emotionally. So I think that those skills have translated because art making is vulnerable. Art making is scary. And so the kind of perseverance that I remember watching my Jichan, my grandfather, just work because he believed so much in what he was creating as a farmer. These bins were the same bins my Jichan, my grandfather, farmed out of. Same vines that my great-grandparents helped plant. During World War II, particularly after the attack on Pearl Harbor by the Japanese, our federal government allowed, encouraged, and enforced a policy that tore Japanese American families away from their homes, my family included. And we were forced to live in prison camps. My grandfather bought the first 40 acres of the farm in 1948, so right after leaving camp. My family was in Arizona. When our family was released, he decided to come back and plant roots. So my Jichan, I was really close to my Jichan growing up. And when I was in 6th grade, he had a stroke, which took away his ability to speak. So I never really got to ask him some of the questions that I'm trying to answer in my art. And so in a way, there's like this incomplete conversation that I never got to have with him. And so every time I perform, I think of him. I literally wear his clothes in the performance. So he's like I get to be wrapped in a hug by him. I think being a 4th generation Yonsei Japanese American, I think a lot about immigrant stories.
New immigrants to this country, new refugees to this country matter. that they are not problems to the nation, but they in fact enhance the nation. Because of what they bring, because of their experiences, because of what they can share with the rest of us.
Good. Wide your legs, legs wide.
We were the first couple who performed Bhangra on the stage for Dancing with the Stars.
Which of course, if I pick Bhangra is my choice. Second is the swing dance. So we pick West swing dance.
He put on an Elvis outfit, but it was Elvis with a turban. Polka dot was in fashion in 1950s, so I got my hair done how it used to be in 1950s and wore a polka dot skirt. But when we started doing it, the connection we made with the community was amazing. And I loved that.
Being American and being a Sikh is the same thing. Both have same values. Only difference is I have accent.
Get familiar with Sikh identity. You will see a lot of men with turbans, a lot of ladies with beautiful scarves. So this is just another shade of American cultural beauty.
The ceremony is called in Khmer Thwai Kru. Basically means offering to the teacher. They would usually put their hands in prayer, do a little chant and blessing, to grant permission and guidance to dance. From the performance aspect to the costuming aspects is the whole combination being presented on stage, it awes the audience. It makes them really value and appreciate culture even more. For the older generation, I feel like they have a sense of belonging again in redeeming of themselves and how rich their culture were back in the days. Because there was a time that these art forms were like close to extinction.
He has this unique appreciation.
Even though this is our second home, we want to really outpour our passion and culture to this new country.
They see themselves as part of their own culture, but they also see themselves as something bigger and broader, as well as being part of the American society, American culture. For Lon, and I think many others like him, they want to not forget the history. They want to not forget the culture. But he also knows that he's here in the United States, and he has that particular lens as well.
In some ways, I'm kind of reconnecting with my past and also putting my own tastes and styles to these pieces.
So a lot of my writing, a lot of my artwork has been in what the realm I would call memory work. Let the darkness hold you. Let this stone show you how stillness makes witness possible. What is our role? What is our role as Yonsei, fourth generation Japanese American, in capturing, preserving, and giving life to the archives of our community, to the histories of our community? That's where our project, the Yonsei Memory Project, comes from, that deep question. We heard Betty and Jane, who are two Niseis sitting at the back table. They were detained here at the Fresno Assembly Center, and they are badass survivors. Yeah.
I was 18 years old when we came in May till October. That was in 1942. The first day was a shock. It just makes you feel so wonderful that all the people would come together to a place like this to celebrate and help us understand what had gone on at that time.
There are grandparents, and as time passes, people pass.
Well, I hope it never happens again to any nationality,
And this is where I think art comes in. If we don't figure out ways of building empathy, compassion, and understanding across cultures, across people, across experiences, then our entire effort will never be able to prevent more hatred and more marginalization and more oppression.
I am not supposed to be a farmer for so many reasons. I'm Asian American, I was born in a female body, and I'm queer.
That experience of assimilating and acculturating, personally I felt that was a struggle for me. In some ways, when I recreate these dance costumes, I'm like redeeming myself.
I believe dancing brings community together.
It does help filling in the gap between the countries as well as the generations.
Some of the most courageous and creative people are here, coming up with solutions and making their own light so that we can make this country, this valley, and our world a peaceful place, a place of empathy and understanding.